So I've been waiting for my mom to call me back, right? Um, my mom says that she did not file a claim. She did not file a claim and stuff like that. But my neighbors were also telling me too that when when a child or somebody who hasn't worked before and stuff like that has to file disability and for disability because they have a disability or a mental disability or some kind of handicap where they can't work and stuff like that, that they have to file a claim and they have to get their they have to get medical insurance, which actually kind of comes from kind of out of their parents' social security, whichever parent is making the most money or etc. So um, I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't know that, but my mom thinks because I'm an adult, I shouldn't be on her social security. I shouldn't be. But I talked to my mom. I kind of cursed. I kind of yelled at my mom like 10 o'clock at night last night. I kind of yelled at her, but I don't think she got that message. And I did talk to her. I did talk to her. I did talk to her. This morning we did talk, and she said she filed no claim, but it might just be a claim under my mom's social security for my for me to have my disability, because they said my disability is continuing, which is good, but um I don't know. I don't expect people to do their damn jobs. I don't expect the state to do their damn jobs. I don't expect, I mean, obviously the whole thing was like a baby elephant, which with this whole thing with me trying to help out Taquana out of the kindness of my heart, and because I wanted to be a support for her store, and I wanted to welcome her to the community, and I really liked what she was about, and I really liked the food and the atmosphere, and I wanted to help her out. Didn't know if I could do the job, didn't know if I was going to fail miserably, but I still wanted to help her out. I still wanted to put my heart out there, and I still wanted to be a good person and try to, make a difference and try to help Taquana, break in her store and be, you know what I mean, like break in the atmosphere of the store for the community and stuff like that, where it's like it's like she feels welcome, and she feels like there's a loving community and there's loving people that want to support her. But obviously, my situation with her was already rotten from the start. She thought I was special, so. I mean, obviously, I have mental disabilities. I have a mental disability. I mean, my mental disability makes me a little weird and sometimes erratic, or whatever the word is, erotic, psychotic, whatever you want to fucking call it. I mean, there's a couple things my mental disability can make me, because obviously I struggle with my mental health, but. I also physically can't hear. I have medium deaf hearing loss. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'm mediumly deaf hearing impaired, which means I cannot. I can hear, but I can't hear very well because I have medium deaf hearing loss. I can't, both of my ears have a good, a little bit over the medium size of hearing loss for the amount of hearing loss I have, because I probably had like my headphones in at one point, and I was walking around Torrington and stuff like that with my headphones blasting and stuff, and I probably made myself deaf because of my headphones and my earbuds in my ear when I had my iPod and I was doing all the walking and shit back when I came down with my mental illness to begin with, So, anyways, I'm doing all right. And apparently, hopefully, I'm still gonna, my disability is continuing according to the paper. But I mean, I still gotta talk to a worker. My mom thinks I almost might be getting scammed, because if there's a claim under her name, there's a possibility that she could be getting scammed when it comes to, I could be getting scammed when it comes to my paperwork or calling, trying to, connect with Social Security. But, I'll give it to my worker. I'll give it to my worker, I'll give it to my worker on, Monday or Tuesday or whenever I see him. I'm going to call him tomorrow. I actually plan on going out tomorrow. I'm not even going to lie to you. I plan on going out tomorrow for a little bit. It's not like I'm going to spend loads of money. It's not like I have loads of money to spend. As a matter of fact, it's only because I want to go to the bank really quick and put money into the bank because of the situation which I said before, which I wanted to almost take care of on Friday, but didn't get enough time to do it. And now I'm lucky enough that, that my accounts didn't, the things in my accounts didn't clear and only leave me with like $2-3. But You know, hopefully I'll have like $7 or $8 between the rent and the account now, or the rent and the account and the AC bill, um, I knew this was coming, so I can't like be too down on myself and say, oh, you're without money and you're gonna suffer for the rest of the month and feel really, really bad about it, because I already knew this was coming. It comes once a year where I gotta sit here with my, by myself and kind of, mull over things, because I can't afford anything else, because I had to pay, another $90 to my landlord just to run my freaking AC for 3 months, but luckily, it only comes once a year. The other thing I don't want to miss, too, that comes once a year is my renter's rebate. I fill it out, anywhere from April to, like, October, and, try to go and get my paperwork, filled out, or my situation filled out for my renter's rebate, and it's money back in my pocket. Usually the money that comes back from my renter's rebate sometimes is like $400 or $500 back in my pocket, so I'm looking forward to it if I can get it back in my pocket, because sometimes I use a little bit of that money towards like Christmas or my birthday, and I've used it, a couple times for Christmas and my birthday. I bought new guitars, or I bought a hat, or I bought this, but I'm not looking to, like, as I said before, I'm not looking to go out and support local business and stuff with most of it. I might with a little bit of it if there's anything left over, but there's a lot of things I would like to do for myself to really get myself situated and stuff, organized and stuff like that. But I will say openly that I would like to I would like to get myself two I call them gag gifts, but I would like to get myself two gag gifts for my birthday and, for my birthday and Christmas this year. I'm 34 years old. I don't need any more music. I don't need any more books. It's nice to have all the books and all the poetry and stuff in the world. I have all the tarot cards in the world. I don't really need any more tarot cards, but what I really would like is I would like to get myself kind of a gag gift. It's probably a lot of money to be spending on something that's cardboard, but still, I would like to get myself a gag gift or two and have them kind of displayed in my house. The only thing is like I got to make a little bit more room so I can actually have that spot to display them, and I still got to get rid of a computer chair that, I have that I got to sell for some money because it's for teens. Whoever wants a teens computer chair, I'll give it to you for $100. You walk up, you take it, you walk away, and everything's fine, I just don't want the chair. I really don't, and I almost want to donate it, because it's not like my mom actually got refunded, because she did get refunded. The guy from China or California or wherever they were, who got somehow they got my number and stuff like that. But the guy from China or Japan or whoever they were, who kept calling me, harassing me, because if they're asking me if I got the refund and shit like that for my mom's card. My mom actually ended up getting the refund, and she ended up getting refunded, but they're telling me, oh, you can keep the chair. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do with the chair? Like, I can't use, I got a teens computer chair sitting in my middle of my room now that I don't even know what to do with other than maybe sell it, it's literally in pieces. It's literally in the pieces. All it needs to be done is there's probably tools that come with it and stuff. All you really need to do is piece it together. But I'm hoping somebody, and it's a heavy box too. It's like 54 pounds, and I need to be able to, get it out of here or ship it out of here or do something with it where it's not sitting in the middle of my living room. But regardless, that's the other thing I want to do too, to make space in here. So when the fall time comes, I'm not, I don't got this big ass box sitting in my apartment and stuff like that. In some cases, I almost want to just donate it to Goodwill. But somebody's like, "Oh, you should get money for it." But it's like, what the fuck am I gonna do with it? Until then, there's no storage space to keep it in here. So maybe I can be generous and just donate it to Goodwill, and maybe somebody at Goodwill will buy it or something. My mom's thinking I should get money for it because obviously I still have it and it's still a brand new chair. I need some assembly required, but don't mind me. I'm eating cheese. And I'm eating Well, these were in the back of my fridge, so these are kind of like frozen a little bit. But I have buffalo chicken, which I forgot I had these, which I gotta eat these up before they get expired. Um, I'm alright for the most part. I am alright for the most part. I'm playing with the flowers. Yeah, I found a bunch of these flowers. I stepped downstairs really quick. A couple of my neighbors were sitting around just talking, but I did stop downstairs really quick. A neighbor handed me two things of macaroni and cheese, Velveeta macaroni and cheese things, and another neighbor handed me this from another neighbor I saw. I can't even look at the neighbor who actually handed me, who wanted to hand me this, but and the neighbor who wanted to hand me this handed this to another neighbor, and the other neighbor gave it to me. But the neighbor who actually wanted to give me this has cancer, and she has cancer and stuff, and she doesn't even look very good and stuff. And I have a hard time looking at her knowing she has cancer, and she looks absolutely awful. So, but she thought of me. She's like, oh, there's an art thing in Sharon, and about, selling your, about, possibly earning some money for your art and your pieces, and, so I got a little clip out of that from a neighbor, but, it's not like I'm going to be able to get to Sharon anyways to do it, but no, I went downstairs and I found a bunch of flowers, a bunch of fake flowers. I took, but, for the most part, I'm at that point where I'm just like, okay, my mom says I should be fine. I should be fine, because they're saying they are continuing my disability. They are going to continue it as long as the other paperwork. I mean, obviously I have to answer for two different people. I have to answer to Social Security, and I have to answer to DSS. So, it's not just Social Security I have to answer to. I have to answer to DSS, too. So, I mean, obviously we try to get the DSS paperwork and stuff in there and stuff like that. So hopefully that's all taken care of, or that will be all taken care of, and my situation will be approved. If it's not approved, then I'm going to be really frustrated. But doing the best I can, trying to breathe, trying to live my life, and be positive and be happy. So I'm at that point where doing the best I can, and I was a little frustrated before, and I've already said why I was frustrated, because as an artist, you want to work with people, you want to build, you want to grow with people, and, that just is a huge frustration to me as an artist and somebody who's really trying to, make connections and trying to build an artistic community that I could work with and, will work with me and shit like that. So, that there's always a couple of people, or there's some people from a certain group, we're in a certain area that seem to have issues, and, or there's people in here in Torrington that have, from certain groups that have issues, and, it's affecting a lot of what I try to do and stuff like that, because, everybody wants to say the system is built on white privilege and, all this blah, blah, blah stuff about civil rights and stuff that really should be long dead, and we should be worried about the future instead of the past, but, I'm alright. I just wanted to say that, too, that my hope, hopefully this paperwork stuff should be alright, My worker will know better if I actually got, scam paperwork, if I got scam paperwork in the mail. Because my worker says it all the time. My mom said it to me, too, that it could possibly be scam paperwork, especially if they're saying there's a claim that's filed out of my mom. But it may be a claim or a situation to kind of renew my disability, if my disability was up for being renewed and stuff like that for my Social Security. So it might have been just something like that from my worker. My worker didn't tell me what the hell he did. He just told me he took care of it, which I asked him personally, what did you do to take care of it? And he said, I don't worry about it, I took care of it. I'm like, that doesn't tell me the fuck what you did to give me reassurance that it was actually handled, But people don't want me to worry, because people know I've been extra stressed and I've been extra, upset and shit. So People don't want me to worry and shit like that. And people already know too that somebody out of the blue. It wasn't me, and I'm not making this up. I'm really not making this up. And it wasn't me, and then some of my workers were trying. I'm almost somebody said too. It has to be a worker that knows how to call the crisis line for my mental health program because. If you don't know how to call the crisis line for my mental health program, then then you shouldn't, you're probably not going to be somebody who would be, guilty of this. But people who know how to call the crisis line for my mental health program would be the ones that would be guilty for trying to make, say something about me, saying something about like the bookstore, saying something like I said something about the bookstore and having the cops at my door. Or having the cops involved in shit like that because I've been upset or I've been frustrated about shit. I've been frustrated about shit. I'm going through some type of midlife crisis. Nobody's here with me. Nobody. The state doesn't fucking care. My mother does. My mother's an hour or two away. She barely fucking cares at times. I have artist friends worried about their own careers and other stuff too, so they don't fucking care. I mean, when I'm going through a midlife crisis, I'm going through my own shit on my own, and nobody seems to want to give a fuck. And obviously I could use a friend, I could use somebody to talk to, or and stuff like that, but I don't necessarily have that. So, and obviously, as I said before, everybody's busy or everybody's doing this, or some people just don't give a fuck. So, but for the most part, I'm alright. I mean, I'm alright besides the midlife crisis stuff, which I'm dealing with, everybody dying and, changes with my mental health program and, different things of those natures and other things with the arts falling apart. And I could give you a fucking list, but I'm not going to go on to a whole list. But I mean, I'm alright. I really am alright. I'm explaining to people. And yes, when you hear the agitation and the anger in my voice, that's how angry and upset and agitated I am when it comes to these issues. It doesn't mean I'm in some type of crisis necessarily per se, but it does mean that's a reason to have a crisis because people see that any form of aggression is a mental health issue or a mental health imbalance, so you're going to be sent to a hospital because of it, which I don't like. I don't like the fact that they can excuse being angry or being upset and you getting aggressive because they're being asinine or just stupid idiots and stuff for just instead of they can't chalk it up to the fact that you have a right to be angry because of their bullshit. They can automatically use that as a loophole to just send you to a hospital, which I've always hated. I've always hated that part of my mental health, that you can't get angry at somebody or you can't necessarily show any type of aggression. Otherwise you're just sent to a hospital because it seems like you're having some type of mental health imbalance or some type of shit like that. So you have to go get to a fucking psych ward and shit. And my glasses are fucking filthy. I haven't been able to look at the camera in hours because my glasses have been fucking filthy. I actually just cleaned these motherfuckers the other day. And the fact that they're filthy again is actually bothering the fuck out of me. It's like, but, it's like, I'm not trying to sound like I'm having a mental health imbalance, but I mean, obviously the arts meant a lot to me. The arts meant a lot to me. The arts meant a lot to me, and they do mean a lot to me. They mean a lot to me in my mental health. I mean, I don't know how much of the arts is going to be left for me to partake in, or how much of the arts is going to be left for me to really enjoy and stuff like that, because there's been issues and there's been other things that have happened that, I've obviously been pulling people apart and making changes for people. But obviously with anything, it is obviously kind of having a little bit of tolls and push and pull on my mental health. But I mean, it's not the overall picture of everything that's wrong either. It's just like, that we have to sit here and just cry out mental health issues, I mean, but the state wants to have a reason for their jobs where they call out mental health issues and they send me to a hospital so they look good, so they look good and say, oh, it was your fault, Carl, because you did something or you did the action or you did the behavior, so we can send you to the hospital and you gotta fucking deal with it, and the hospital is gonna do something stupid like they're not gonna put me on the right medications. They're gonna try to change my medications after the medications I've been on have been working and etc. And they're gonna try to change them and try to put me on new ones. And as soon as I get out, they possibly are gonna change them back or something, something along those lines, So it gets really fucking frustrated. Yeah, that's if I get out, because last time they almost didn't want to like let me out of the hospital because I had like a panic attack and I started like fighting back at people. Yes, hospitals are fucking triggers. Do not put me into any type of hospital or try to enclose me in the hospital, because I technically get kind of like paranoid and really kind of like bugging. And when I say bugging, I say like, having to be pinned to the floor by like 6 different people. I don't do good. I don't do. Oh, I mean, I don't like hospitals in general. I don't like hospitals in general because, in general. But I mean, I don't feel comfortable in any type of hospital. I mean, if I can avoid the hospital at all cost, I will do so. But in general, I just don't. It's a trigger for me. When you grow up having mental health problems and dealing with mental health issues, you kind of develop these things that hospitals and when and then the way people treat things and the way people go about things, for you just simply getting angry, turn out to be triggers in themselves, because you wish people would handle them differently and stuff like that, because you feel like you have a right to be angry and stuff without being always criticized for the slightest bit of a mental health issue and stuff like that, which is always just the thing that always pisses me off about my my mental health programs and shit like that everybody's so quick to call the cops, and the cops are either going to arrest you or send you to a mental health ward for your mental health in the hospital, because that's the only 2 options they have. They say, oh, if you're threatening somebody, or if you seem like you're threatening somebody, or we got a report, you either go to the hospital or you go to jail. So but regardless, somebody actually made it sound like I was going to be over the top, and I was I mean, I was pissed. I was pissed off afterwards. I won't lie to anybody. I was pissed off afterwards when it came to the fact that I did hear about somebody possibly making a complaint about the bookstore and stuff. I was pissed off afterwards. I'm still kind of in the back of my mind saying, let me find that person, because that person needs to be held responsible for multiple things, because they might know that they're playing with fire, and they're laughing their asses off and thinking this is a funny joke because they're causing this type of drama and this type of friction and stuff between me and the other artists and etc. Or they just don't care, and they think I was having some type of issue, and that's still not right either, because I really wasn't, and people who know me and know the situation and know that, I know how to handle me in certain situations. People who don't are gonna pretty much, do stupid shit like that, which will try to, they'll try to end up calling cops and shit and try to send me to a psych ward. I haven't been to a psych ward in over 8 years. I hate to say that. I haven't been to a psych ward in over 8 to 9 years. I've been pretty stable, and I've been doing pretty well, and everything's been going pretty good. I've also been to myself in some cases, and and then I've had other stuff that kind of lean on almost like potential legal issues. I almost had things that lead on potential legal issues and stuff like that, because I had associated with some of the wrong people, and they were getting into legal issues, and I got a couple complaints from a couple people who obviously had issues and stuff too, and mental health recovery, and they had issues with socialization, and obviously with guys in general that I think I kind of and the state knows about these things. The state knows when people have issues with certain issues that are almost like predatory, or certain people have issues to like sleep around, or they have issues where people sleep around and shit, and it's almost comes off predatory. They won't do anything about it. They'll say that everybody has a right to talk and socialize in any group that they want to do. I mean, obviously, whatever happens after hours or whatever happens afterwards is your fault. But I didn't know anybody. So the thing is, I didn't know anybody for some of the things that have happened, in the past, and I kind of got, blamed for shit that, probably it isn't true. I mean, it isn't true, but regardless of the factor, I'm regardless of the factor, their excuse was, we can't tell you because of confidentiality. We can't tell you that this person has a history of sleeping around with people, and then calling the cops on them and shit like that, making verbal and complaints like people abused her and shit like that. I'm like, really, really. You can't tell a client that to look out for their ass, and who's new and enters the program to save them from that type of drama and that type of bullshit. To save them from that type of bullshit. So, I mean, I've been through that. I've been through that with my mental health program. I'm not supposed to be talking about it, but I've been through it. The thing is that, they can't say shit because of confidentiality and liability and HIPAA and stuff like that. But people should be able to say stuff, especially if it's a safety issue or a liability issue like that, where people are gonna get, fucking scarred or in trouble for it because, they don't know the situation or they don't know what's going on or with the history. So, but, the fucking programs suck. The fucking programs suck up here. Everything fucking sucks. I'm still in the fucking program. I'm still living my life day by day. I'm still in the fucking program. I'm doing the best I can to breathe. I'm doing the best I can to go forward. I'm doing the best I can to live my life. But, at the same thing, it's like, I've done a lot to break away from the system, and I've done a lot to break away from the system as much as I can. I still need the system for a little bit of things, and that's my problem, is that I can't fully break away from the system because I still kind of need the system for, like, medications and, things like that. But the thing is, when people hear about things, too, then they're trying to rope people in with, other agencies and other things, too, to try to gain some of the access to some of the things that I was either doing or trying to be involved in, that I'm trying to do away from the system and away from all this, mental health stuff and stuff like that. I'm trying to do a lot. I've been trying to do a lot. A lot of my art stuff I've been trying to do away from my mental health program and stuff like that, because it helps my mental health. It keeps me out of the drama of the mental health programs that have happened in the mental health programs. It keeps me out of the drama and the socialization issues. And it kind of has, obviously it's going to be my fault whether I sink or swim, right? It's going to be my fault whether I sink or swim in some cases, but in some cases too, I think there's a lot of other things now becoming involved in some of the recent things that have happened already because of, how history shows itself and how people view, society and all the stuffs which I mentioned before, which now it's not just on me, which people can say some of it's my fault too, which maybe a little bit of it is, but there's other things involved that I know for a fact are really also contribute to the fact that, shit is not, shit's gonna hit the fan, and the state can't say anything or do anything about it, but shit's gonna hit the fan before it gets better. I mean, it's gonna hit the shit. I mean, maybe, and that's true. I have a feeling it's definitely true. I mean, I don't know when or, I think people are waiting for me to explode. I think people are expecting me to, like, the pressure to build up so bad, or the situation for to get so bad for me to actually mentally explode or have some type of episode or something, like mental health breakdown or something. Because I've obviously been under pressure, and I'm like a pressure cooker waiting to explode, But the thing is, I'm pretty much, I'm pretty much, human. I'm pretty much human. I pretty much have my moments, and it doesn't always have to come to a huge mental health break or a huge mental health problem, but, obviously I try to stay away from the system. I try to do things away from the system. I got involved in the art galleries and stuff in town, which I was trying to keep away from the system. Which was my place, because nobody in the system ever would have believed in, the art galleries or the arts or anything that was going on with the, that I was trying to get involved in. Not many people would have, believe in it, and if there were the people that were, then there was very little of them that would, and I would still be kind of on my own, doing my own thing with the, with the art galleries and stuff like that, and I wouldn't have to worry about disruptions and shit, but, obviously times are changing. Times are changing. The situations are changing. Some things happen too where there's just, just between people, there's personal dramas. I won't lie. I mean, obviously, there's the frictions that started some of these. It's not all of these situations, but some of these situations where the frictions have happened were over one or two people that have obviously, had personal issues between me and them that we couldn't actually, work out and see eye to eye with, Well, we couldn't see eye to eye with, and we had to part ways, and we had our issues and stuff like that, which obviously still kind of has a big impact on the whole picture of everything of how I'm looking at it, which I'm still working, as I still work with, their friends and, and et cetera, et cetera. Plus, they were also a big supporter of Black Lives Matter and shit like that, which I'm kind of, I don't know. I mean, Black Lives Matter, but I'm not necessarily going to be part of the movement or the cause, and I'm kind of denouncing some things in the name of, like, my ancestry and some other things that I feel really strongly and, and indifferent about compared to how other people might feel. But, I'm speaking my mind. I'm speaking my mind, and it's not easy for me to speak my mind and say this, but I mean, I gotta be open and honest and honest with my heart to say what I have to say, That, shit, I don't agree with certain shit. People have a way of doing certain shit and stuff like that and really trying to tear shit up. I mean, I really would like to find out who did that complaint. Somebody made a complaint to this crisis line, and somebody says the only people who would know to do a complaint to a crisis line would be somebody from a crisis, situation, or somebody who knows my mental health program, and obviously that puts me on at a dis-ease with everybody, Mental health wise, that puts me on a dis-ease with everybody. I hate to say that to everybody, but everybody right now is kind of on a dis-ease with me, and that's because I could be anybody. I mean, it could be anybody. I mean, obviously, it's not impossible for somebody to realize about the mental health line where you can call for a crisis, but I mean, obviously, most likely it's the MO of people who would be in the mental health system that would use it, not necessarily people outside of the mental health system that would like to get involved in trying to use that and to make matters worse. On top of that, because now I don't feel like I can trust anybody. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I can really trust anybody. As my tarot card reader said from tomorrow's horoscope, the elephant grew. The elephant grew in the room. There was a small elephant in the room when it came to Taquana and John's situation. There was a small elephant and just me walking away. And somehow with this crisis thing, it got bigger. My mom swears to me that she did not call and make a claim, and she did not try to call and try to make a big deal about it to Social Security about me or Taquana, we working for Taquana or something like that, or me trying to work for Taquana because, and failing miserably because of my disability and shit like that, She didn't make a complaint and stuff like that. I mean, I was hoping she wouldn't, which I don't think she did, but, She kind of went off the other night a few weeks ago and said, "Oh, I'm gonna go make a complaint. Somebody should report her to the board because my mom felt it was kind of wrong that I didn't get paid for a day that I worked. I mean, I was supposed to be working more than a day, but then again, I think the whole situation of what I was gonna do for Taquana, what I was willing to do for Taquana, kind of got misunderstood, and how Taquana was viewing me as what I was gonna do for her and stuff like that was communicated. So Taquana was thinking things that were probably not true of the situation, but which made matters worse between me and her, right? Which the whole thing is a fucked up mess. I mean, it's an elephant in the room, and it's gonna who knows? It might grow out of proportion at some point, It might just really grow out of proportion, and it's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to touch and nobody wants to talk about because everybody's afraid that I have mental health issues and stuff like that, and they're gonna have some type of problem with me or something like that, and nobody wants to deal with it. But I mean, technically, it's the elephant in the room that affects all of us. Is that my support of local business, and I'm kind of like my unofficial, It's a fallout now. I'm gonna say it's all it is a fallout now. It's a fallout now with John Noki, and it's a fallout with Taquana. But I mean, obviously, I could have gone back and fixed things with John Noki, and I've said that to a couple of people. I could have gone back and because I didn't tell John I was upset with him or nothing. I was just told to politely leave and not go back and show my support and My friend was saying to me too that I have a right to tell people. I have a right to tell people that, you know, if I feel some type of way about, you know, me supporting the business and there were some issues with me supporting the business, I should still have a right to say it, which I do. You know, I do. I mean, people might want me to shut up about all this, and people might want me to shut up about both of them, but I still have a right to say why I'm upset, you know? And obviously, I'm more upset now because the situation, which started as a baby elephant, grew 10 times bigger and 10 times more out of hand. That, you know, with the whole thing down here, with me supporting local and me supporting the local artists and stuff, that it really is out of proportionally whacked now. You know, my mental health is being affected by a lot of things, not just here in Torrington, but a lot of things in general with the arts and my personal matters, and a lot of things are just affecting a lot of things for me, and it's not good, you know. And people are concerned. People want me to almost go back into therapy with a female therapist, just so I can have somebody to talk to in the meantime until I can figure out what to do with me. Just so they're, you know, just so I could actually start working on something. But I'm not going to, because I don't want to say the wrong thing to a female therapist and have the situation kind of turn into something that's not going to be, you know, good or, you know, beneficial to my life. Because, you know, I mean, I dealt with the therapist that they had before I had to, like, advocate for myself and really try to advocate for myself and my rights to stick up for, you know, getting another therapist in another situation, to get another therapist, which was a male therapist I had worked with before when I was in the young adult program. I had to get that therapist back because I felt like it was a better working scenario for me to work with them, so I could actually have somebody to talk to for therapy, which was more of a guy, you know. I can't do this female shit, you know. I can't do the female shit where the female shit doesn't, you know, can't really, you know, understand or cope with, you know, male issues or male scenario things. So, anyways, I just wanted to get that off my chest. I don't want to, like, go on and on and on about this, because the elephant in the room is growing, it's growing, and, you know, truthfully, I don't even know what to say anymore. I just want to give it peace. I just want to really give it peace and time and quiet, but, you know, obviously this whole thing is getting blown out of proportion. The elephants are growing in the room. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to confront me. Nobody wants to tell me how they feel. Nobody wants to, you know, come and... I could use a hug. I could use about, like, fucking 20 hugs at this point. And nobody wants to give me a fucking hug at this point because, you know, I probably have everybody so fucking scared of me and shit because I'm, you know, having some type of issue over here, but I could use a fucking hug. I can use about fucking 20 hugs. Somebody give me a fucking hug, for God's sakes. You know, I mean, you know, I don't know. But I'm so fucking pissed. I'm so fucking, you know, done. I mean, I'm done. You know, when I say I'm done, I'm done. But, really, at least I wasn't actually officially done, you know, probably about like a month or two ago. But now as time goes on, I have no choice but to be done, because the situation and things, as the baby elephant was actually smaller at one point, grew out of proportion. You know, grew out of fucking proportion. So, anyways, I just wanted to get that off my chest. I'm gonna go and finish my meal. I'm gonna go make something else to drink and try to focus on me and do what I have to do. I'm sitting around. I mean, I sit around mostly on Mondays. I think Sundays is like bingo night. Sundays is bingo night and stuff like that. So they're in the middle of playing bingo, unless that was yesterday. So they're in the middle of playing bingo, doing what they have to do to play bingo and stuff. So I just kind of sit here by myself and do what I have to do and chill. So, you know, I'm not trying to sit here and, you know, I don't know. I mean, I should go for a walk. I mean, I should go for a walk maybe starting tomorrow. Maybe I'll go for a walk. Maybe I'll choose a different direction and go for a different walk in a different direction. Or maybe I'll go to the park. You know, maybe I'll go to, like, Co Park. They have a little walking trail. Oh, let's say a walking trail. They have a sidewalk where you can walk around the park a couple of times. Maybe I'll walk around the park a couple of times and just do a walk around the park or something to get out of the house. But I still gotta go to the bank tomorrow. I gotta go put money in my account, you know, and stuff like that. I actually gotta give the paperwork which I was just talking about and going off on multiple miles a minute, but I still gotta give that Social Security paperwork to my worker, whether I do it tomorrow or whether I do it when he gets a chance. I still gotta give it to him, and he can tell me more exactly what it is and what the hell it's about. So Anyways, change is and thing is, change is never easy, and I'm dealing with a lot of change. I'm dealing with a lot of changes, and I'm dealing with a lot of emotional and mental changes, and a lot of other changes. And change is never easy. Some changes are good, some changes are hard, and some changes are okay. But lately things have been kind of really kind of rough on rocky on the change department. But hopefully, once it's all clear and I come out of better shores and better situations, I'll be better for it, but I don't know.